بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم my beloved ones ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah we are going to continue the manasik al-Hajj. Okay. And the rules which we are discussing is the prohibition number 21. And this is going to be part 4 about the rules, questions and answers related to the traveling under the shaded means of transportation. So let's try to sort out a few questions and answer raised in this issue. So we reached on question number 41. So, and most of whatever is remaining, now the theme is understood. The theme is like this. All these are application on the theme. The theme number 1, shaded means of transportation. What is the meaning with Sayyidi Sistani? To travel, to protect yourself from sun. So if there is no sun and rain on the basis of obligatory precaution. So at night time, there's no sun. So travel at night. However, it might rain. So if it rains, then it's obligatory precaution. You should not be traveling in the means of transportation. And if you're traveling, then you have to stop the car, get out of the car or something like that. So that is number 1. The penalty. The penalty of traveling in the shaded means of transportation in the sun, in the daytime where the sun is shining, no clouds are covering the sun, you have to pay a penalty, a goat or a sheep. What about nighttime if the rain falls? If the rain falls and you continue traveling, then the kafara is sheep. How the kafara is sheep? Is it obligatory precaution? Can we refer to another marja then I will not have kafara in the ruling of kafara? No. Kafara is fatwa. Traveling under the means of transportation while it's raining, it's ihtiyat wajib. So in kafara, look at the technicality. In kafara, you cannot revert. If you were on the ruling of, say, this, or the precautionary measure of, say, this Sistani Damadullah, and it rained, and you did not do anything to avoid, and it was avoidable, even though it was harmful, but it was avoidable, you'll have to pay kafara. But we thought that we can refer, yes, referring to another marja, not in the ruling of kafara, referring to other marja in the ruling of you can travel if it's raining. Like majority of the maraja, the rain issue is not there. Okay, so majority of the maraja, if a'lam fala'alam allows you to travel while it's raining, refer in that. So you will be avoiding two things, avoiding the prohibition, precautionary prohibition, and kafara automatically it will not be upon you, because now you're not on the fatwa of Sayyidi Sistani for the kafara to be paid by you. No, you left this ihtiyat of Sayyidi Sistani. So there is no kafara on you. So you see the technicality, referring to some other marja' is not in the case of kafara, because kafara is fatwa. Referring to other marja' is in case of the obligatory precaution of Sayyidi Sistani. When it rains, then you have to avoid that, and you did not avoid. Even if it was avoidable, even if it was harmful, but if it was avoidable, then the kafara will be must. So again, I conclude this point so that we can understand the remaining masail. So there are two things. One is traveling in rain under the shaded means of transportation. Obligatory precaution, you should not. You should do anything to avoid it. You did not avoid it, kafara. This one is ihtiyat, that one is fatwa. So I can't refer into kafara to someone else? No. but you can refer it into ihtiyat, and there'll be no kafara. So if you say I am referring in this ruling to Ayatollah Fulan, who says it's okay to travel while it's raining, then automatically there'll be no kafara because you are not sticking to the ihtiyat of Sayyidi Sistani. But if you're sticking to the ihtiyat of Sayyidi Sistani and you continued, there'll be kafara if you're referring to someone else. So this was one aspect. The second aspect, we realized that Sayyidi Sistani clarified the two types of being compelled. One is forced to, like an airplane, or if the authority arrest, God forbid, or something like that, or they force you, then you don't have any option. Even if it is not harmful, you don't have anything in your hand to do. It's not in your control totally. So there's no kafara and no haram. But if you were able to avoid traveling under the shaded means of transportation, but avoiding it was going to cause serious harm, but still it was avoidable. So here we are talking about avoidable, and you're compelled to because of the harm. In that scenario of aeroplane, it's not avoidable. You are stuck inside the aeroplane. Okay, you don't have any option at all. Here you have an option, but the option is harmful, but still you have an option. So here there will be kafara. So this is a confusion which happens many times, and alhamdulillah, I realized that it was in recent masail, it was clarified. But before it was like, no, intentionally you do it, whether you are compelled to or not compelled. But then another meaning of compelled appear in recent masail, which is like not having any other option. Okay, compelled to, but not having any other option. In that case, there is no haram, there is no kafara. Okay, let's see this ruling number 41. It says from the decisions, this is one of the years, I think it's one of the rulings, which one of the rules of traffic laws of Saudi authorities before a few years. So there was a declaration, or there was a decision made in the Hajj last year that أن يكون دخول مكة وداع النسك والتنقل, you should do it in a specific time and specific route. Okay, that means choosing night and day is not your option then. And this is when manasik al-Hajj we are talking, not Umrah. So if you are going to enter Makkah and perform the manasik, and you are going to transport between the Mina, Muzdalifah, Arafat, they have given you specific time, your bus, your caravan. And you are not allowed to travel into the roofless means of transportation, and you cannot choose night or day. So here you are forced to. There is no option in your hand. Okay, you don't have any option. You are not compelled, forced. So he says that فهل يبني على كون المكلف مجبرا? Is it like the questioner asked, is it like the person is forced to, majboor, then there will be no kafara? So he answers, إذا كان مجرد عدم السماح له بالتنقل ليلا أو بالسيارة المكشوفة بحيث لو حاول ذلك لتعرض إلى للعقوبات. He says if this law was only allowing you to travel in a specific time, not at night, the time which was given was not night, and the car which was you're supposed to travel is not roofless, or the vehicle is not roofless, and if you try to avoid it, you would be compelling yourself to the punishment or the legal consequences, such as punishment of the authorities, that's seriously harmful. And there's no other option he has to transport, which is going to uh, get him out of this harm. Okay. فلا يجد محيصا من التنقل المستلزم للتضليل يجري عليه حكم المضطر. In this case, the rule of someone who's forced to will be applied. That means no كفارة. وأما مع إلزامه نهارا بركوب السيارة المظلل بحيث لو امتنع منه لتعرض للعقوبة جرى عليه فلا يجد محيصا من التنقل المستلزم للتضليل يجري عليه حكم المضطر. وأما مع إلزامه نهارا. So there are two things here. Okay. One is إذا كان مجرد عدم السماح له بالليل أو بالسيارة المكشوفة is one of the two. بحيث لو حاول ذلك to get away from one of the two things, either he tries to get into an open car or tries to travel at night, then فلا يجد محيصا من التنقل المستلزم للتضليل يجري عليه حكم المضطر. So he is like under the pressure, and the rule of somebody who's under the pressure will be applied on him. So this is where he's given an option. He has either this, either that. And there's no other option, no other way out except to travel under the shaded means of transportation and in the daytime. So that's مطلق. وأما مع إلزامه نهارا. However, if he's forced to get into a shaded car or shaded vehicle in the daytime. So two violations, he's forced to do two violations. وأما مع إلزامه نهارا بركوب السيارة المظللة بحيث لو امتنع منه لتعرض للعقوبة جرى عليه حكم المكره. So he will be also here the rule of somebody who's compelled to will be applied. Here in both scenarios we are seeing that there is punishment. He will be subjecting himself to the legal punishments. تعرض للعقوبة. And there is no other. So in the first scenario, the second scenario, he's forced to travel in the daytime and in the shaded means of transportation. This is the second scenario. So how is it different from the first scenario? It was إذا كان مجرد عدم السماح له بالتنقل ليلا أو بالسيارة المكشوفة. Is either this, either that. Okay? So if he's not allowed to travel at night, or he's not allowed to travel in the opened vehicle. So he tried to get away from either this or either that. So he's going to be punished. So then there is no other option for him except to travel in the means of transportation, which is the shaded means of transportation. The other one is, no, he is asked to do both things. He's asked to travel in the shaded means of transportation and in the daytime مع إلزامه نهارا بركوب السيارة المظللة. And if he avoids, then he is going to be punished. In the first scenario, إذا كان عدم السماح له بالتنقل ليلا, he cannot travel at night, أو بالسيارة المكشوفة, or traveling, is either this either this. So لو حاول ذلك لتعرض للعقوبة. So in both cases there is punishment. فلا يجد محيصا من التنقل المستلزم للتضليل. So the only option he has is that he has to travel in the covered car. فيجري عليه حكم المضطر. Did you get this scenario? In the scenario number one, if he travels in the uh, uh, closed means of transportation, or no, or roofless means of transportation, he's going to subject himself to the punishment. In both cases, the general rule is avoidable or not avoidable. Okay, instead of going into these kind of details, we just apply. So in both cases, if it is unavoidable totally, like he's forced to, there's no option in his hand, because we're talking about punishment and legal consequences. Okay, and that is not easy. So then there's no kafara on him. The sin is not there in both scenarios. However, if it is avoidable, okay, like in the first scenario, the question is not clear. The questioner has not asked clearly. So therefore, he is basing his answer on the question. So the question says that there was a decision that all these areas you are going to go. So لا تسمح بركوب المكشوف. They don't allow you to travel in the roofless means of transportation, and nor to choose to travel at night or day. They give you the time. Mujbaran. So, see, this is to clarify the questioner's question, he kept two scenarios. In both scenarios, there is punishment. If he does not, he will be punished. So in both scenarios, he is forced to. So in both scenarios, if he's forced to, then there is no kafara. But if he was not forced to, he had certain options, like some might understand from the first ruling. But as long as ولو حاول ذلك لتعرض للعقوبة. لو امتنع منه لتعرض للعقوبة. So both cases, first, if he tries to attempt to go against the law, tries to attempt, he will be punished. Second one says if he avoids, okay, following the rule to get in the shaded car in the daytime, both together. The previous one, either this, either this. So he was going to لَتَعَرَّضَ لِلْعُقُوبَةِ. In both cases, there is punishment. Okay, so in this case, this person has no other option. However, if it is understood from the first scenario that he has an option that he can try to avoid from the punishment, he has an option, then he does not use that option, then he is going to be, because the wording لو حاول, if he attempts, in the second scenario he's told to travel in day and in that thing. Here he's trying to, he can try to avoid. If that's the case, then the ruling of the compelled will apply. That means he'll pay kafara if he did not try. But in the second one, it's clear cut. So second one is black flat. But in the first one, if we understand that it's all about the general rule, if it applies on both, no kafara. If it applies on second, no kafara. If it does not apply on first, and it gives you sense of attempting to avoid and you did not attempt, then there'll be kafara. So the main idea is that we understand the main rule, even though sometimes the words of the questioner and sometimes the word of the response it needs further clarification and removing that. But the rule is clear. Question number 42. What is the ruling of traveling by train from Mina to Makkah? He says, after you have taken off your ihram, you have exited the ihram state, there's no problem. Okay? Khalas. Day, night, it doesn't matter. You are out of your ihram. Wa illa, however or otherwise, it is not permissible except for night time. Ma adam al matar, as long as it does not rain, on the basis of obligatory precaution, al ahwa. So same application. Daytime, yes, you can travel in the train after exiting the ihram. Otherwise, you can only travel at night. Question number 43. في أثناء الذهاب من الميقات إلى مكة. You're going from ميقات to Makkah ليلا. So some splashes of water came. قطرات من المطر ماء. I don't know. Is this rain or some water splashing out from some of the cars in front of me? You're driving, you see, and you see some drops of water come on your windshield. So now you're doubting, should I stop? It's raining, or it's splashes of water coming out from the second car. And the road was wet with the rainwater. So it had rained, but now it's not raining. So when the splash came, I'm doubting, is it raining or is it the on the road, wet road is sprinkling splashes. So he says, as long as you doubt, there's nothing upon you. You have to be certain, yaqeen, that it is raining. Again, intercity traveling. Say the Sistani doesn't allow. So is the kafara obligated on someone who is using shaded means of transportation or umbrella inside Makkah and is unaware about the prohibition of the ruling? Okay, the prohibition that he should not be doing it. He says there is no penalty, kafara. Kafara is if you have knowledge. Now let me make one point clear here. You are unaware about the ruling or unaware about the obligation of kafara. You're unaware about the prohibition of intercity traveling in the state of ihram, or you're aware its prohibition, but unaware that there's penalty. Once more, there are two unaware in this situation, traveling intercity. One, and this applies to many of other rules as well. You're unaware about the prohibition of traveling intercity in the state of ihram. Or you're aware that it is prohibition, but unaware of the penalty. So when will be the penalty exempt? By unaware of the ruling or unaware of the penalty and knowing the ruling. So here's the thing. If you're unaware of the ruling, because Sayyid al-Khui's follower would travel and you are following the same direction and you did not check the ruling of Sayyid Sistani, neither the caravan guide was aware about it and guided you that you should not be traveling on the basis of obligatory precaution intercity. So it's unaware. If you're unaware about the ruling, you are exempt, no kafara. But you are told about the ruling. It's prohibited on the basis of obligatory precaution, but not aware about the penalty. So here the penalty will be obligated. But I was not aware. I'm jahil bil hukum of the obligation of penalty. No, no, no. But you know that it's prohibited on the basis of obligatory preclusion. So either refer to another marja or pay a goat or a sheep. Okay. So that is the thing. So here we see this in ruling 45. I'm not going to say because it's almost repeated. If a person who's in the state of ihram was following someone who's doing taqleed, that yara hurmat tasatur, taqleed of somebody who's a marja who was considering shading to be from the cold or basically, so it is the kafara would be obligated based on that. After the death of that, he went, it's all same. So he says that if a person stays on the taqlid of the second marja, he left the first marja, there will be no kafara. وإن رجع, if he considered the first marja a'lam, okay, وإن رجع إلى التقليد الأول لكونه الأعلم عنده والمختار وجوب على تقليد. And our choices, so I'm not going to repeat, we have given so many rulings. This is a good scenario. A mu'min, believer, school of Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam, ruling question number 46. He was working in Jeddah for 30 days, for 30 years. And he was doing Umrah Mufrada, back and forth from time to time. Many people they do. Many people they come from Jeddah to Makkah every weekend. Like how Karbala, people from Najaf go to Karbala every weekend from Baghdad. They just go to Ziyarah Imam Hussein. The norm here is similar in Saudi, that every weekend Mu'mineen get opportunity living in Jeddah's vicinities. They do the Umrah. You see? That's why you see Thursday, Friday, it's packed here. So if you're coming your first Umrah, make sure that you don't come on Thursday, Friday. Let Thursday, Friday be included. Come on Wednesday, come on Tuesday, and let the Thursday, Friday barakah be there. But don't arrive in Makkah Thursday. It's going to be very complicated. The trains are expensive. The buses, the taxi, everybody is like, they know that it's a high season, weekend season. Anyhow, so he was coming back, okay, ويتظلل عن جهل كان يؤدي. So he was doing, coming in the shaded means of transportation out of unawareness. For how many kafarat he needs to pay if you had forgotten about the number of the umrahs he performed in all these 30 years? So the answer is, again, the scenario. He was unaware about the ruling or unaware about the kafara being obligated. إذا كان يتظلل في حال الإحرام جهلا منه بحرمة التضليل على المحرم فلا كفارة عليه. If he was using the shaded means of transportation during the ihram out of unawareness from him in the ruling of prohibition of traveling under the shaded means of transportation in the state of ihram, then there's no penalty on him. وَأَمَّا لَوْ كَانَ عَالِمًا بِحُرْمَتِهِ. However, if he was knowledgeable, he was aware that it is prohibited to transport in the means of transportation in the daytime, for example, if he's following, say, the Sistani Damadullah. وإنما يجهل ثبوت الكفارة بذلك فيلزم أداؤها. But he was unaware that is kafara wajib or not. He said, no, you knew that it was prohibited. Why did you do it? So yes, you have to pay the kafara. So what about how many kafaras you pay? 30 years. He said, if he's hesitating between the less kafarat and more kafarat, he doesn't know. He will have to assume two numbers, the lesser number and the higher number. So ma'adawran, if the hesitation was between the two numbers, the lesser number and the higher number, he can consider the lesser number and pay the kafara of the lesser numbers. وَمَعَ دَوْرَانِ الْأَمْرِ بَيْنَ الْأَقَلِّ وَالْأَكْثَرِ. And when he's hesitating between the number, I don't know how many kafarat I have to pay, 20 or 30 That is hypothetically if he was traveling every year Umrah. But what about if every week? So he doesn't know. I think he needs to buy a whole herd of sheeps and cattle. I mean sheeps. So والأقل يجوز له البناء على الأقل. It is permissible for him to rely on the lower number, lesser probability. علما أنه لا يثبت في كل إحرام إلا كفارة واحدة. Having a knowledge or knowing that in every ihram there's only one kafara. So he did the repeated process in one ihram, then it's only one kafara. وإن تكرر التضليل فيه, even though if the shading has repeated in it, like he got off the car, he did this, he did that, and he went on in the car back again. He repeatedly did. First of all, he was not aware about its haram. Second, there's no kafara. But if he knew that he was haram and he repeated, so in the count, he needs to keep his consideration. How many ihrams did he do? 30 ihrams, one ihram per year, 40 ihrams. How many? So I think it was between 30 and 50. Okay, consider 30 and that's it. Question number 47. It's a repeated question. Kafara does not repeat, okay? Per ihram, one kafara. It does not multiply for this issue of shading. Question number 48. Again, this question is also like he was in Makkah. He came to Aziziyah. He's still in Ihram. So now what happens? He settled down in Aziziyah. He slept, but still he's in Ihram because he's tired. Tomorrow he'll do the Umrah. So tomorrow is the next day. He enters this, he's already in Ihram. He goes Makkah, it takes a shaded means of transportation. Second time, third time, it's okay. One kafara per ihram. Try to avoid committing haram as much as you can by avoiding in traveling in shaded means of transportation in between intercities. Okay. So yeah, this is also explained. Question number 49. You know, the kafara is goat or sheep. Okay. Goat or sheep. Let me see the meaning of so basically shat. Remember the word shat. So shat is a general meaning, general term. It means livestock, sheep or goat. Okay, male or female. So we said so many times shat, and I was saying sheep, goat, sheep, goat. So a question came: is it sheep or is it goat? Shat is inclusive to sheep and goat. So here the question number 49 is asking al-ma'iz goat أقل ثمنا من الضأن is lesser in price from the sheep. فهل يجزي ذبحه في كفارة التضليل? Is it permissible to slaughter the goat instead of sheep as a penalty of shading? And is there any specific age required? He says, يجزي ذبحه. Goat, sheep, doesn't matter. It's shat. It is that inclusive term mentioned in the narrations. So it applies on goat, it applies on sheep. If you buy cheaper goat, it is, so what is the criteria? Is there any age? The age is, it should be considered shat. That means livestock. Okay. يجزي ذبحه ولا يشترط فيه سن معين. It is sufficient to slaughter a goat, and there is no specific age for the goat. Unlike in Hajj, when you sacrifice, there are conditions, restrictions of age. We are going to take that once we start taking Manasik al-Hajj. But here, in penalty, of تضليل, there's no specific age. بل يكفي صدق عنوان الشاة. It is sufficient that it is shot which you are slaughtering. Question number 50. Okay, shot. Tadlil, shading, shot. S for for shade, for shot. Livestock. So question number 50 asks that you mentioned in the manasik that the kafara penalty of the shading is shot, slaughtering a shot. The mushatin. فهل يجزي بدلا عنه? So is it sufficient for us to exchange it with a camel or a cow? MashaAllah, generous. He says, Mahallu ishkal. It's a problematic. It's a case of problematic. Why? That means the narration mentions shat. I want to stick to shat. Okay, you can choose shat, goat, sheep, male, female, you can choose anything. Big, small, age, doesn't matter. But don't replace it with something which was not narrated. For him, is mahal ishkal. It's obligatory proportion. That means there might be a weak narration. There might be some ulamas, they say that you can also, I mean, if you want to slaughter a goat or camel, you can. But say the Sistani has problematic. That means problematic areas are obligatory precaution. Okay. He says, no, stick to shart. Final question in the rules of shading. Question 51. If a person wants to pay the penalty of kafara on his behalf and on behalf of his father, and he gave the representation to someone, a power of attorney representation, to slaughter this kafara on their behalf. And he told him, buy 6 shia. That means shat. That means could be goat or sheep. وَذْبَحَّ, and slaughter it. عن صاحب العمل, on behalf of the one who performed. Okay. So the guy gave power of attorney to someone to get 6 sheep or goats and to slaughter it on behalf of the one who performed the shading, who did the shading. And who performed? He performed, his father performed. وَقَصَدَ أَنَّ ثَلَاثًا عَنْهُ وَثَلَاثًا عَنْ وَالِدِهِ. He made an intention that these 3 of the 6 are for me, and 3 of the 6, the other the 6 are for on behalf of his father. وقصد أن 3 عنه و3 عن والده، ولكن لم يقصد أن 3 الأولى عنه هي عنه أو عن والده. So he made the intention that 3 of the 6 are for me, 3 of the 6 are for his father. But he did not specify which 3, the first 3 or the last 3 are for you, or the first 3 are for your father and the last. He didn't specify. Okay. ولكن لم يقصد أن الثلاثة الأولى هي عنه أو عن والدي. But he did not make an intention that the first 3 are on his behalf or behalf of his father. وقام الوكيل بذبح 6 عن صاحب العمل. And the wakil slaughtered, the representative slaughtered 6 of them on behalf of the one who shaded. Who and which one is for who and which one? The first 3 or the last 3, or there's no specification here. So the questioner asked, فَهَلْ تَجْزِي أَمْ لَا? Will that be sufficient or no? He says, yushkalul ijtiza'u biha. Ishkal. It is problematic to suffice on that, okay, or to consider that sufficient. That means in bracket, obligatory precaution. Find a marja or redo. If no marja gives you permission, al-a'lam fal-a'lam, then redo the kafarat and this time specify it. So here we have completed the rules of rule number 21 is done. I mean the prohibition number 21. Prohibition number 22 is very small, and fuqaha they have difference of opinion in this. Say the Sistani is obligatory precaution. What is that? The prohibition number 22, discharging the blood or um, extracting the blood from the body. So he says, this is, we are doing main text, and then we are going to do the question answer. Main text is very small, and there is no, because it's not strong narration. Some of the ulamas, they don't consider this one of the prohibitions of ihram. Say the Sistani, it uses a lot of precautionary measures. لا يجوز للمحرم إخراج الدم من جسده على الأحوط وجوبا. It is not permissible for a person who's in the state of ihram to extract blood out of his body on the basis of obligatory precaution. إلا لضرورة, unless if it was necessary, like medical purpose, okay, or like sting of bite of the snake, and they have to take the blood out. Okay, okay, that is darura. So what about Sayyidina hijama, okay, or this what they say, extracting the tooth out. So he says no. If it was necessary, yes. If it was not necessary, no. You cannot extract the tooth because the blood will come out. You cannot do cupping, the blood will come out. وإن كان ذلك بفصد أو حجامة أو قلع ضرس أو حك أو غيرها. Regardless of this kind of extraction, why regardless of being by cutting a portion to let the bad blood out, or by cupping therapy, okay, or by extracting the tooth, or by scratching, or by any other means of extracting the blood. However, it is most apparently permissible والأظهر جواز الاستياق miswak. When you do the toothbrush, okay, blood comes out sometimes. So he says it's permissible to use the miswak, okay, even if there was some bleeding associated. Sayyidina, the main part, if let's say a muhrim does, so he has committed haram on the basis of obligatory precaution if it was not necessary. So Sayyidina, tell us, is there any kafara? He says, وَكَفَّارَةُ إِخْرَاجِ الدَّمْ لِغَيْرِ ضَرُورَةٍ. The penalty for extracting the blood out without any cause of necessity, shat, livestock like sheep or goat, on the basis of recommended precaution. على الأحوط الأولى. Let's see these questions. Let's see these questions which are associated with this taking the blood out. Now, blood means there are so many ways of extracting the blood out. What about injection? When you inject somebody, the blood will come out. Question number 1. هل يجوز is it permissible for a person in the state of ihram to have an injection, like being jabbed, or anything, any type of needle jab, being jabbed, if it was going to cause extraction of the blood. He says it's permissible to take an injection. Okay, take shots. Because in United States, they call it flu shot. They call it shot. Some place they call it injection. Some Americans, they call it jabbed, being jabbed or something like that. Anyhow, يجوز permissible وإن كان الأحوط تركه, even though it's recommended precaution to avoid it. فيما إذا كان الغير محرما. If someone else was muhrim, he was doing for you, then it's recommended precaution to avoid it. وإن كان الأحوط تركه فيما إذا كان الغير محرما. Somebody else, you are muhrim, the one who's going to inject you is muhrim as well. So it's permissible, even though it's recommended precaution, because if he says permission, then he says وإن كان الأحوط تركه, and it could be, it is permissible. But if somebody else, if this ihtiyat is associated with the next sentence, then it could be obligatory precaution. وإن كان الأحوط تركه فيما إذا كان الغير محرما. Even though it's obligatory precaution to avoid if someone else was muhrim. So there are two segments. If it's the whole sentence is one, then it is recommended precaution. If the whole sentence is divided into two segments, then it is obligatory precaution. And it can be understood, as my teachers, they understood from this, that it is obligatory precaution if another muhrim is helping you extract the blood. But if you are doing it by yourself, then it is permissible. So regardless, it is from those, if it was out of necessity, then even this obligatory precaution is averted. And obviously, who will inject himself, or why will you, if it was not like either it's insulin, either it's those kind of things which you have to take. Otherwise, no one likes to be needled unless if you're an odd person. Question number 2. هل يجوز المحرم أن يزرق نفسه بالإبرة? Can a person inject himself with a needle if it was going to cause blood from it? He says, لا يجوز له ذلك. It is not permissible for him to do that on the basis of obligatory precaution, unless if it was necessity, unless it was ضروري. إلا لضرورة. Same application of the main theme. Number 2, about donation, blood donation. Question number 3, is it permissible for a muhrim person to donate blood to others? Answer, الأحوط للمحرم أن لا يخرج الدم من بدنه بأي نحو كان. Okay? It is obligatory precaution upon a muhrim person not to extract blood out of his body with whatever reason it is, whatever means it is, regardless of being him doing or someone else doing for him, unless if it was a necessity that made him. Let's say somebody was dying and they needed blood, and your blood was only the one which qualifies. So then, yes, you are going to there will be no obligatory precaution here. You'll be exempted. And in normal cases, it's obligatory precaution. You can refer to, but it's not like if it's necessity, obligatory precaution is gone. It's permissible. If it's not necessary, so why would you like to refer to another marja just to take blood out of your body? Okay, just don't do it if it's not necessary. Why? Referring to the marja is like serious issue, like those intercity traveling and those kind of things are really, really serious issues, or the rain at night. Okay, but blood, don't wait one day, next day if you want to, if you have a hobby of extracting the blood, cupping and whatever. Do it after. Why do you have to do an ihram? Yeah, there's nothing to do. We're like sitting in Arafat and it's long day, and let's utilize this time. Oh my goodness. Sometimes people, they really want to be improvisers. Okay. Genius. Ruling number four, question number 4. هل يجوز المحرم? Is it permissible for a person in the state of ihram to scratch his body or to remove, the caps over the crusted blood over the wounds, peel it off. And if you peel it off, blood might come out. Peeling the caps or crust of the injuries, scales of the injury, the scale which is formed on the injury, whatever you can name it. Or you have like some sore lips, you do a little bit of peeling off the skin, blood might come out. Or many times it happens here on the beside the nails, some dry skin comes out and you peel it off and blood comes out. And that happens to me. That's why I'm giving you this example. So he says يجوز إذا لم يكن بحيث يوجب الإدماء. So you can scratch your body, you can remove the crust or the caps of the wounds, because sometimes when you remove the cap, it's dry, nothing is underneath. Sometimes there's fresh blood underneath it, or the things on the lips. These sometimes if your lips are dry, you can take it out. But sometimes it becomes severe, it might bleed. يجوز إذا لم يكن بحيث it is permissible to do all these things as long as the blood does not come out of it normally. Then obligatory precaution, don't do it unless if it was necessity. Question number 5. It's about the toothbrush. We mentioned that can somebody do the toothbrush? We mentioned that yes, you can. Even if there was a probability. So is it compulsory to avoid? He says, no, it's compulsory to avoid. So that was miswak. Sorry. That was miswak, the stick. So there's a difference between the stick miswak and the toothbrush. Toothbrush, because the narration mentions miswak. Let's see what's the ruling of Sayyid Sistani with regards to the toothbrush. He says, استعمال فرشاة الأسنان إذا تسبب في خروج الدم. Okay. فللأحوط الأولى دفع الكفارة. If I'm using toothbrush and not miswak, not that wooden stick, and the blood was discharged, is it recommended precaution to pay the goat or a sheep, to pay a shat? He said this recommended precaution is very weak. If someone has said it, other fuqaha, with respect to them, it's very weak. Because maybe say the Sistani is relating this brush with the miswak, and he said with miswak there's no problem. So performing ihtiyat on brush, he says it's very weak. الاحتياط فيه ضعيف جدا. The precautionary measure in this is very weak. Okay, what about the insulin jabs? So if a person jabs himself with insulin, and sometimes if a person who is diabetic and uses insulin, injects insulin under the skin, frequently, many times, blood comes out during the injection, or after the injection, blood comes out. So if he was in the state of ihram, and he did insulin injection 2-3 times. So will he be compelled to pay the penalty shot each time he jabs, or one per ihram is sufficient? He says there is no kafara in it. That was a recommended precaution. Now this is a necessity. This is a case of necessity. لا كفارة في إخراج الدم لضرورة بل مطلقا. There is no kafara on extracting the blood due to the case of necessity. Due to the case of what? Necessity. And this is one of the cases of necessity. So he said, إخراج الدم لضرورة. It is necessity. He says more than that. Rather, absolutely, there's no obligation. The kafara we mentioned in the case where it is not necessary, it's recommended precaution. So absolutely, there's no obligation of penalty in this extracting the blood. Finally, question number 8. What about extracting the tooth and the blood comes out? هل في خروج الدم بقلع الضرس extracting the tooth and the blood comes out مع ضرورة necessity خلاص there's no kafara finished. Is there any kafara? The extraction of the tooth was necessary. Even if it was necessary, he said there's no kafara. It's if it was not necessary, recommended precaution. If it is necessary, then no kafara at all. Then we have clipping the nails. That's the prohibition number 23. Okay, clipping the nail. لا يجوز للمحرم تقليم أظافره. Muhrim, it is not permissible. This is a serious case. And it's a funny case as well. Like two people, they're clipping for each other. What is this strange, weird thing? I'll clip for you, you clip for why? You're paralyzed or what? Just clip for yourself. Why are you guys doing this weird bromance stuff in this and Hajj and Umrah Ihram? لا يجوز للمحرم تقليم ظفره ولو بعضه. Muhrim, it is not permissible for, there is haram to clip off his nail, even part of a nail. Let's say his nail was this high, he clipped half of it. Thank you. إلا أن تدعوه ضرورة إلا أن تدعوه ضرورة إلى ذلك. Unless if a necessity compels him to do that. أو يتأذى ببقائه. Or if the nail stays, then it is going to be harmful to him. كما إذا انكسر sorry كما إذا انكسر بعض ظفره, such as his nail, part of it chipped off or broke. Now when this nail gets chipped off, part of it, and becomes sharp, it might be harmful. وتألم مع بقاء الباقي. So part of the nail is remaining and he's feeling pain. So it must be a bit deeper, okay? Or somewhere it needs to be cut. You know, like sometimes, especially it happens the foot nail. Like it chips and one of the edge of the nail becomes sharp. So it starts hurting the skin beside it. Like let's say this one is sharp. So it starts rubbing with this one and this one becomes injured. These are personal experiences for the foot. I don't know about the hand. That didn't happen with me, but foot, sometimes it gets chipped. So such as if if the nail, part of the nail was broken and the other part would cause pain to him if it remained. فَيَجُوزُ لَهُ, then it is permissible for him to cut. So now we understand that there is a case of necessity, permissible. No case of necessity, no. So what is the penalty? And now look at the penalty. كفارة تقليم كل ظفر من اليد أو الرجل مدمن الطعام. كل ظفر, every nail you clip off, you have to give 3/4 kilos of rice or food, rice, grain, any grain, to the poor. Barley, wheat, the main things. مدمن الطعام ما لم يبلغ في كل منها العشرة. So as long as the total does not reach, you have like how many nails? 5, 10, and foot 20, total 20 nails. Unless if somebody had an extra toe, some of the people, they have congenital problems and they get extra toe. So then he will have 21 nails. So what's happening here? Like why are we counting each nail? Because each nail has 3/4 kilos of food. Perfect. So if you clip off 2, 3, 4, each nail 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, okay, until it reaches 10, like 5 from hand and 5 from foot, or 10 of them from hand, or 10 of them from foot, doesn't matter. So it says, ما لم يبلغ, as long as it does not reach, في كل منهما العشرة, as long as it does not reach in each of them 10. Okay? So from the hand or from the foot. كفارة تقليم كل ظفر من اليد أو الرجل. From every nail you clip off, from the hand or from the foot, 3/4 kgs of food. ما لم يبلغ في كل منهما العشرة, as long as you don't reach hand 10 or foot 10. Okay? So if you clipped 8 from hand and 2 from foot, the total is 10. But still your hand is 8 and foot is 2. But if you clip 10 nails, okay, of your hand, you have reached the quorum. Now the kafara is going to be serious. So ولو في مجالس متعددة, like you are now, you clip two nails, you are muhrim, you are in the state of ihram. After 2-3 hours, you're doing something else, you clip 2-3 more nails, and it goes on until in one ihram 10 nails of hand or 10 nails of foot were clipped. فإذا بلغها, if he reaches 10, okay, either in the hand or either in the foot, في مجالس متعددة كانت كفارته شاة. Even if it was in multiple sittings, not in one sitting. Normally people in one sitting they clip off, but he clipped 2 nails and then he had to do something. After that he came and he said, and he started doing clip. So there are pauses in the clipping of the nail. In a way it's considered not one sitting, okay, several sittings in the state of ihram, the same day or 2 days, as long as this it's one sitting or multiple sitting, doesn't have any, regardless of one sitting or multiple sittings. So if it reaches 10, kafaratu shat, the penalty will be sheep, not sheep, shat means sheep or goat. لكل من أظافر اليدين وأظافر الرجلين. So if you clip off 10 of for hand, sheep or goat for hand. And if you do for foot, if you clip off 20, like 10 for hand and 10, then you will have to pay 2 shat, like 2 goat or sheep, 1 goat or sheep for hands, nails, and 1 goat or sheep for the foot's nails. However, so now we have 10 and 10. Okay? But then there's a condition he mentions. However, إذا كان تقليم أظافير اليدين والرجلين جميعا في مجلس واحد. Let's say you clip the hands and the foot in one gathering, one sitting. Then it's 1 sheep or goat, 1 shat, 1 livestock. Okay? So here we have what? We have the scenario that if you are going to clip off the nails, okay, in one gathering or one sitting or various sittings, then you will have to pay penalty. If it doesn't reach 10, each nail clipped will cause an obligation of a three-quarter kilos of food. If 10, then one sheep. If 10 hand in one gathering, one sitting, and 10 foot nails in another sitting, sheep and sheep. But if you do all hand and foot in one gathering, you get a discount, 50% discount. 1 foot, one goat or sheep. So this is what was in ruling number 274. مجلس واحد فالكفارة شاة واحدة. فالكفارة what? The penalty will be one sheep. Okay. Going to a technical problem. Yes. Ruling number 275. إذا قلم المحرم ظفره. If a person in the state of ihram clips his nail فأدمى إصبعه اعتمادا على فتوى من جوزه خطأ. Remember, we said that bleeding, some scholars allowed, say the Sistani has problem in it unless obligatory precaution in it, except it was for the case of necessity. Let's say clipping of the nail got associated with bleeding. And he depended on this bleeding on the fatwa of somebody who allows. Remember, ihtiyat wajib, obligatory precaution, you can refer to another marja. So it depended on another marja. So not another marja here. Yeah, but it's so it says إذا قلم المحرم ظفره. If a muhrim person, if a person in the state of ihram clips off his nail, okay, of one finger, depending فأدمى, and it bleeded, okay, اعتمادا على فتوى من جوزه خطأ. Okay, someone who told him it is okay to bleed. So it's not a marja. اعتمادا على فتوى من جوزه خطأ. Out of error, somebody told him, made a mistake, and told him it is okay to bleed. So there is a kafara on the basis of obligatory precaution. Okay. وجبت الكفارة على المفتي على الأحوط والجملة. The one who gave wrong fatwa, he is supposed to pay the kafara, not the one who received the fatwa. وجبت الكفارة على المفتي على الأحوط لزوما, on the basis of obligatory precaution. Yes. Ruling number 275. So it's understood. He clipped his nail and he bleeded himself. Depending on the fatwa of someone who told me, it's fine. You can clip your nail. If the blood comes out, it's fine. So he said, no, the kafara will be obligated upon that person on the basis of obligatory precaution. Okay, so you are saying that the Sistani is saying there's no kafara on bleeding. So why is there a kafara here on the basis? It's recommended precaution. Why the one who gave the fatwa to clip the nail? See, he gave the fatwa to clip the nail, okay, not to bleed. So the kafara is for clipping of the nail on that person. Why did you give wrong fatwa that he can clip off his nail in the state of ihram. So, again, I'll read the mas'ala again so it becomes clear to you. Okay? إِذَا قَلَّمَ الْمُحْرِمُ ظِفْرَهُ. If a person in the state of ihram, okay, clips his nail, فَأَدْمَى إِصْبَعَهُ, and he bleeded. Here there needs to be a comma. اعتمادا, depending on, fatwa man jawazahu khata'an, depending on someone who allowed him to do that out of error. Allowed him to do what? To bleed or to clip off his nail. If allowed him to bleed, there is no kafara. The issue we are discussing here, not the bleeding, though it got mixed up between clipping of the nail and the bleeding. You see, that it seems like he bleeded depending on the fatwa. That means a guy told him it's okay to bleed, but then there is no kafara on bleeding. So therefore, it's a recommended precaution. If we go back to the إخراج الدم, okay, لا يجوز للمحرم إخراج الدم من جسده على الأحوط وجوبا إلا للضرورة، وكفارة إخراج الدم لغير الضرورة شات على الأولى. It's recommended precaution. If somebody bleeds, it's obligatory precaution not to bleed unless of necessity. Then why should somebody who caused bleeding of that person bear the kafara? Because there is no kafara for bleeding. It's recommended precaution, not obligatory precaution. So if there is this, if we are saying that that person is supposed to pay the kafara on the basis of obligatory precaution, it is the guy who gave the fatwa to clip off the nail. اعتمادا على fatwa, depending on the fatwa who gave him permission. What was the act done? The act done in this ruling is clipping the nail. إذا قلم المحرم ظفره فأدمى, then he bleeded. So his action here in this ruling is not bleeding. We are talking about the whole concept of clipping of the nail. Otherwise, if this ruling was looking at bleeding, it would have been in the previous prohibition. But this ruling has been kept here because the discussion is all about, yes, the sentence can be confusing. I'm agreeing with you. Okay. The sentence, a person might think, okay, if he made him bleed out of error, why there's obligatory precaution kafara? The kafara is recommended precaution. But no, because he made a person clip off his nail, so the person he clipped his nail out of unaware of that being prohibited. He thought it is halal to clip the nail, to be clipped. Now who will pay the kafara? And not kafara three quarters kilo. No, this person will pay the kafara on the basis of obligatory precaution. But there is a specification of bleeding. You see, there is something to do with the bleeding here. So there's clipping of the nail and bleeding together. And when this comes, there is a narration indicating certain scenario. There's a very specific scenario. So there's a narration, but the narration is not strong. So that's why hesitation happens. When hesitation happens based on weak narration, Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah plugs it with obligatory precaution. He doesn't want to let it go. He doesn't want to give fatwa based on that. Okay. So I hope this is understood. Let's see the questions. هل يجوز للمحرم أن this comes. Someone else clipping off someone else. Maybe that person is paralyzed. Maybe it's not necessary bromance. Like I was reading this muscle and some of the youth, they say, what's this bromance, weird stuff? No, I mean, can't somebody clip off somebody else's nail in circumstances? Okay. mother clipping of the nail of the children happens like that. The child, father is very elderly, so mother is elderly. It so then, no, we are talking about you clip my nail, I clip your nail. This is like a weird stuff. Well, they may have a point here, but anyhow, let's see the ruling, regardless of how did it happen. So is it permissible for a person who's in the state of ihram? We know that he cannot clip off his nail. But can he clip off someone else's nail, be it that person is in the state of ihram or out of the state of ihram? But the clipper is in the state of ihram. So Sayyidi Sistani says, لا يبعد الجواز فيهما. In both cases, be it that person whose nail is clipped is in the state of ihram or not in the state of ihram. There's, it's not far away that it's permissible. Okay, he should not clip his own nails. So he says it's not far away, but there is a kind of itchy there because some fuqaha they did not allow. So he says وإن كان الأحوط في الثاني الترك. Even though in the case of the second scenario, which is the second scenario, a person in the state of ihram. So see, the question was, is it permissible for a person in state of ihram to clip off the nail of someone who is not in the state of ihram, scenario one, or in the state of ihram, scenario two? So he says, it in front of me, there is no problem, it is permissible, even though it's recommended precaution to avoid the second scenario, a muhrim clipping for another muhrim. نعم، ليس للمحرم التسبيب في تقليم الغير أظافره من غير عذر. So a person should not cause other person to clip off their nails without any excuse. So the bottom line is that a muhrim can clip off the nails of others regardless of that other is in the state of ihlal or state of ihram. However, it's recommended precaution that the one who's in the state of ihram don't clip off his hand. But what is this tasbib? That means a muhrim person, he will not clip. He will tell others to clip. So ليس للمحرم التسبيب في تقليم الغير أظافره من غير عذر شرعي. You cannot cause, you are in the state of ihram. You cannot cause others, okay, to clip off your nails. Like, please clip off my nails. And that person, be it muhrim, be it non-muhrim, but either you clip, it is prohibited. Either you let someone else clip for you, it is prohibited. Okay? هل يجوز المحرم أن يقلم أظافر غيره? But so there are two scenarios. One, to clip off someone else's, that's okay. You clip off your nails, prohibited. You tell someone else, please come and clip off my nails, that is not permissible. Okay? Like, so what is the difference? The previous ruling was saying that you clip off the nail. The scenario says, is it permissible for, focus with me, okay? Is it permissible for a person in the state of ihram to clip off nails of other person, be it in not be it out of ihram or in ihram? Focus in ihram. That means he's allowed to clip off the nail of somebody in ihram, in the state of ihram. Okay? It's recommended precaution to avoid, but not wajib. Just focus with me here. It is permissible for a muhrim person to clip off his nails, clip off the nail of some other person. Not in the state of ihram, in the state of ihram. Focus it in the state of ihram. I need you to pay attention. But this person should not tell him, please come and clip off my nails. How can that be? How can that be? That person can clip off nails of someone who's in the state of ihram. Okay, recommended precaution avoid, but it's permissible. He can clip, but this person cannot tell him, please come and clip off my nail. So what's the difference? The difference is this scenario. In this scenario, you can picture the guy is sleeping, the guy is paralyzed, the guy is something, or he is in a state that is just like there, or the guy comes and say, let me clip off your nails for you. But you tell him, you tell another muhrim, clip off my nails, you should not do. So this is what he says. Naam, laysa lil muhrim, the one whose nails are going to be clipped by another muhrim. التسبيب التسبيب في تقليم الغير أظافره من غير عذر. You cannot tell other person, come clip off my nail without any excuse. If there's excuse, problems, we said it's okay. But without any excuse, please come and clip off my nails. You cannot do that. So that person who's going to clip off the nail of this muhrim has no problem in it. But this person, he cannot tell him to come and clip off my nails. So there are two responsibilities here. There are two responsibilities. Responsibilities of a muhrim clipper, responsibility of the muhrim whose nails are clipped. This person, the clipper, he can clip the muhrim person's nail and nothing on him. But if you tell him, clip off my nails, it is as if you are clipping your nails. I hope this is clear. Again, because the wording are in a way that, so this person can clip off this person's nail without having any problem because he's clipping off other person's nail. But this person cannot clip off his nails, neither he can ask someone else to clip off his nails, be it muhrim or non-muhrim. So let's say he told him, please, bro, come and clip off my nails. You know, I'm muhrim. Yeah, you're muhrim, but it's allowed for you. But it's not allowed for you. You'll have to pay penalty. That's fine. I'll just pay penalty. Just please clip it. So then letting this person clip off your nails is like as you are clipping off your nail. So you cannot cause other person to clip off nail. Cause can be you can pay him something, you can bribe him something, you can gift him something, whatever. You or ask him a favor. Okay, please, brother, help me. So if there was an excuse, then there'll be no kafara. But if there's no excuse, then you ask other to clip off your nail as you have clipped your nail by yourself. Okay? So, what about these hungry people? They're always hungry. They just like to clip off their, eat their nails. They enjoy eating their nails. Anyhow, many people, they do out of worry, out of, it's habit. Yeah, it's not like they're going to be satisfied and their stomach is just a habit. Some people they have. هل يجوز للمحرم إزالة ظفره بالمبرد? Let's say I bring a file. You know what's a file? Not this one. Like you file your nails until it disappears. Okay. So is it like the ruling of clipping is similar to filing, or clipping by mouth, biting the nails? So either clipping with either removing the nail by filing it or biting it. So is it permissible? He said no. لا يجوز. It's not permissible. هل يجوز المحرم تقليم الظفر الزائد وظفر الإصبع الزائدة? So what about if somebody has an extra finger? I've seen people, they have some extra finger, like six finger growing this side. Some of them I've seen they have extra thumb. So can they clip off the extra finger's nail? هل يجوز للمحرم? Is it permissible for a person in the state of ihram to clip off the extra nail, an extra nail which is زائد يعني X or grown over the average? Can I clip that over the average? Or the nail of the sixth finger? He said, no, لا يجوز. It is not permissible. إلا إذا كانت ضرورة في تقليمه. Unless if there was a case of necessity in clipping it off. So what if he clips it off? The extra part or the extra finger's nail? وعليه حينئذ التصدق لكل ظفر بقبضة من الطعام. If he does that, so every nail he clips, the extra nail, because he did not clip off totally the nail. He just removed the extra part of this. Nail was like this. He made it like this. So the nail is still there, but he reduced it. So that's why his kafara is reduced. So either extra, either reducing the nail, the kafara is handful of food given to the poor. So it is not permissible unless if it was a case of necessity in clipping off that nail of extra nail or nail of extra finger. And if in that case, he should pay sadaqah, handful of food to the poor. And here we have question number 4. If the nail was bothering, okay, the nail was bothering, annoying, إذا انكسر, if the nail chipped off. Remember we spoke this wording, okay? Chipped off, if it's going to cause annoying and pain, and yes, he can clip it off if it was going to annoy him and hurt him if it stays. But then he gives a handful of food to the poor for each nail. Again, question 5 is also done in the theme that if somebody was compelled due to the necessity to clip off his nail, is there kafara? No, there's no kafara at all. إذا اضطر المحرم إلى تقليم نويت إذا اضطر المحرم. We said that kafara of clipping of the nail is giving 3/4 kilos of food to the poor, unless if it reaches 10. So if it reaches 10 in one sitting, then the kafara will be, or various sittings, the kafara will be sheep or a goat. Yeah, so in the main theme, Sayyid Sistani discussed only about the prohibition, okay? Haram or not haram. So clipping off is haram, and unless if it's necessity, it's not haram. That's number one. When he mentioned the kafara, he did not specify it is due to the necessity or due to the intentional unnecessary case. So this question number 5 clarifies that even in the case of necessity, there is a kafara. Same kafara. Question number 5. إذا اضطر المحرم إلى تقليم أظافره فهل عليه كفارة? If a person in the state of ihram was compelled to clip off his nails, then will there be any kafara obligated upon him, penalty? The answer is yes. So same like kafara of shading. Kafara, in both cases, there is kafara. Now here, the question of 10 fingers. Remember we said 10 fingers from hand or either from foot, 10 nails there, goat. 10 nails in the hand, goat. Total 20 in one sitting, one goat. So now he's talking about the extra finger, the guy with the extra finger. Remember the guy, the extra thumb or extra pinky finger or whatever. So if he does clip off من كان له أصبع زائدة, if a person had an extra finger, فقلم 10 من أظافره, he clipped 10 off his finger, I mean his nails, okay. فهل عليه دم شاة? Is he obligated to pay the penalty of شاة, that means goat or sheep? أو لا بد من تقليم تمام أظافر, because this guy has 11th finger. So the question is, will the goat be obligated by clipping 10 only or entire 11? وكذا من نقص منه بعض أصابع. Someone's finger was cut. So he has now 9 fingers. Okay? Or he was born with 9 fingers. وكذا من نقص منه بعض أصابع. So will he, if he clips off 9, will it be obligated upon him to pay a goat or no? Because it did not reach 10. In the main theme, it was 10 fingers. But now it's either 9 or either 11 fingers. Okay. So in case of 9, if he clips all the 9, will there be kafara of sheep or no? Each finger will be obligated to pay 3/4 kgs of rice to the poor. Or if he had 10, he clipped 10, will he be obligated to pay a goat or a sheep or no? Since 11th was not clipped, the goat and sheep will not be obligated. So is 11th included like in 10 or no? Let's see. وجوب دم الشاة عليه في الصورة الأولى مبنية على الاحتياط. In the extra case, if he clipped 10 fingers, I mean nails of the 10 fingers, okay, in the hand. So he says this the penalty of sheep or goat is based on obligatory precaution. Okay, من كان له أصبع فقلم 10 من أظافره فهل عليه دم شاة أو لا بد من تقليم تمام أظافر يده. So he has not specified the answer here properly. He just mentioned that obligatory precaution. So what if he clips 11th as well? Okay, or he clips only 10. أو لا بد ذلك من تقليم تمام أظافره. So it seems the answer is looking at the entire 11. وجوب دم الشاة عليه, if he clips 11 fingers. في الصورة الأولى مبني على الاحتياط, is based on precautionary measures, obligatory precaution, we said. وفي الصورة الثانية, case of 9 fingers, it will be one nail, 3/4 kilos of food, and there will be no sheep or goat on that person. So 9 finger, no sheep and goat. 11 finger, yes, sheep and goat. 10 fingers of the one who has 11, no sheep and goat. So that means the entire 11 obligatory precaution, pay a goat or a sheep. 9 finger person, no. Since he doesn't have 10 plus, then he is going to just limit to the giving the food. Here I have small ruling so extracting the tooth, ruling number 276. He says that some of the scholars said that it is prohibited on a person who's in the state of ihram to extract the tooth, even if the blood does not come out. And they consider they obligated a penalty of sheep or goat on that person, shat. But he says, walakin fi dalili ta'ammulan. However, in the evidence that indicates this ruling, there needs a contemplation to be done. For me, it does not seem that this is one of the prohibitions. The dalil does not indicate that this is one of the prohibitions. بل لا يبعد جوازه. He says it is not far away from me that it is permissible to extract the tooth. The issue was what we discussed in the chapter of the blood. So if we go back to the ruling number, yes, إخراج الدم. So he says if the blood is extracted, okay, it is not permissible on the obligatory precaution unless if it was necessity. So if extracting the tooth was really a case of necessity, then of course the person can do it. So this was the case where the blood was associated with extracting the tooth, but just extracting the tooth without any blood, that is not proven to say this Sistani. And the question also says that is it permissible? Yes, it's permissible that he can extract. And finally, 25th prohibition. Yes, 25th prohibition. It's about carrying weapon. No one is carrying weapon nowadays, and there are very few rules. Let's finish it off and call it a day. Ruling number 25. Not ruling number 25. The prohibition number 25. Carrying weapon. Ruling number 277. It is not permissible for a person who stayed in the state of ihram to carry weapon. بل ولا حمله على وجه يعد مسلحا على الأحوط وجوبا. Rather, it is not even permissible for him to carry a weapon in a way he's considered to be armed on the basis of obligatory precaution. Okay? Not on the basis of rather on the basis of obligatory precaution, he should not even carry it in a way. So first one, it is not permissible for a muhrim to wear weapon or to be armed. Rather, it is not on the basis of obligatory precaution, he should not be carrying the weapon in a way that he is considered armed. So one, he should not wear weapon, like the strap you wear it of the sword or something like that. So let me rephrase it. Ruling number 277. It is not permissible for a person in the state of ihram to wear weapon, okay, to put on weapon, that wearing it. Neither to carry it in a way it is considered that this person is armed on the basis of obligatory precaution. Okay, Sayyidina. So what do you mean by weapon? كل ما يصدق عليه لفظ عرفا. Whatever in the commonly considered view is considered a weapon, such as sword, shotgun, spear, any of these. But Sayyidina, what about the shield? Those things are not considered weapon. Those are defensive measures. So he says that spear, however, the the uh, the tools of defense, okay, or the items of defense are not considered weapon. Duna ala, so you can carry them. Kadir, such as shield or armor, and so on. Ruling number 278. As long as you are not considered armed, you can carry with you in your bag or in your لا بأس بوجود السلاح عند المحرم. There is no problem that a muhrim can keep a weapon. A person who's in the state of ihram can keep a weapon. لا بأس بوجود السلاح عند المحرم ولا بحمله إذا لم يعد مسلحا. As long as you're not considered armed, you can carry the weapon. Like those who are putting strap and they're ready, like, so that kind of readiness shows that you are armed. You're ready to strike. or defend and strike. So no, that state you should avoid. A person should avoid. But you can carry it with you in your hand, in your bag, in your belongings, okay? As long as you're not considered armed. ومع ذلك, even with that, فالترك أحوط استحبابا. Avoiding carrying a weapon is recommended precautionary measure. Ruling number 279. تختص حرمة التسلح بحال الاختيار ولا بأس به عند الاضطرار كالخوف من العدو والسرقة. So the rule of prohibition of carrying a weapon is specific in the case of option, choice. You can carry, you cannot carry, you should not carry because you have an option. However, what about the bandits and the thieves? While people are going for Hajj, they are in the state of Ihram. In the road, they might meet some bandit or thieves or those looters. They could loot. So, ولا بأس به عند الاضطرار. However, it is permissible for a muhrim to carry a weapon in the case of necessity, such as fear from the enemy or fear from being from theft. Like someone can come and steal. So you have to defend yourself and let him run away. Finally, the ruling number 280. What is the penalty of carrying arm without any necessity? He said the penalty kafaratu tasalluh, carrying an arm or arming yourself or being armed. Kafaratu tasalluh, a penalty of being armed without any necessity, is a sheep on the basis of obligatory precaution. So he says sheep or goat, shat, sheep or goat on the basis of. So that is also obligatory precaution. Here he says إلى هنا انتهت الأمور التي تحرم على المحرم. Here the 25 things which are prohibited on a person who is in the state of ihram are completed. And with this also, we also complete our session. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين والسلام